The Secret Garden, Chapter 1, Part 3. Mary woke slowly the next morning, the light softer than before, filling the room with gentle gray. She sat up quietly in bed, listening to the house, where every sound felt distant and calm. The air was cool on her face, carrying the smell of earth, as though the garden waited for her. She slipped her shoes on carefully, her small hands tying the laces steady and unhurried. The floor was cold underfoot, but she welcomed the touch, a reminder that the world was awake. She moved to the window, eyes searching the sky, where pale clouds drifted slowly across. Her thoughts wandered back again, to locked doors in hidden places, secrets the house still kept. She touched the glass lightly, her breath leaving a trace, fading almost as soon as it appeared. The room was silent as ever, but her heart felt less heavy, as though hope had quietly returned. She turned from the window, ready to dress herself, her day beginning in quiet strength. Martha knocked and came inside, her smile bright in the gray light, carrying a small tray of food. "Good morning, miss," she said, setting the tray down, her voice cheerful and warm. Mary nodded without a word, taking the spoon slowly, tasting the simple porridge Martha had brought. The food was plain but filling, each bite grounding her, stronger than she had felt before. Martha talked as she worked, telling small stories of her brothers, the fields, and the busy cottage life. Mary listened quietly, not speaking much, but her eyes followed Martha with growing curiosity. The silence between them softened, no longer heavy, but easy, like the comfort of shared company. Martha laughed once or twice, her words bringing warmth, filling the quiet room with life. Mary felt the change inside, something small but new, a lightness she had not known before. She looked at Martha at last, her lips forming a question, the beginning of a true connection. Martha noticed Mary's eyes, curious yet quiet, and she paused a moment with a smile. "Would you like to walk outside?" she asked kindly, her voice gentle and encouraging. Mary hesitated for a second, then nodded slowly, the thought both strange and exciting. Martha clapped her hands softly, happy with Mary's answer, and promised to fetch a coat. The air outside was chilly, but fresh, carrying the smell of grass and damp earth. Mary stepped onto the path, her shoes crunching lightly, each step sharp in the quiet. The wind brushed against her face, cool but not harsh, almost like a welcome touch. She looked at the garden walls, tall and covered with ivy, hiding secrets behind their stones. Martha pointed toward the trees, telling her about the moors, wide and endless beyond the house. Mary Mary listened with interest, her eyes moving across the land, so different from hot India. The colors were muted and gray, yet she felt calm inside, as if peace lived there. A bird flew past quickly, its wings cutting the air, its cries sharp against the silence. Mary's eyes followed the bird, and for the first time a small spark of joy rose. Martha smiled at her softly, noticing the change, glad to see life touch her at last. They walked slowly together, steps unhurried, letting the quiet of the garden fill the air. Mary touched the ivy leaves, rough and cool beneath her fingers, curious about what lay behind. Martha warned her kindly, "Not all doors are open, miss. Some are best left closed." But Mary kept her thoughts inside, wondering about the locked door, still hidden among the walls. The wind rose for a moment, rattling branches, but then settled back into a steady calm. Mary pulled her coat tighter, but inside she felt warmer, as though hope had quietly arrived. They reached a quiet corner where the wall stretched high, covered with climbing green ivy. Mary stopped to stare at it, her small hands brushing the leaves, feeling their cool texture. "Has anyone been inside?" she asked softly, curiosity glowing in her eyes for the first time. Martha shook her head gently. "No one goes there now, miss. It's been locked for years." Mary's heart stirred at the thought. The idea of a hidden place made her eyes brighten. She pressed her ear to the wall, listening for a sound, but only silence lived behind it. The ivy swayed lightly in the wind, almost as if whispering secrets Mary could not hear. She stepped back slowly, her mind still turning, wondering who had once walked inside. Martha touched her shoulder gently, guiding her away. "Come along now, miss, it's cold here." Mary followed with quiet steps, but her thoughts remained, circling around the hidden garden. The path opened toward the moor, a wide stretch of gray land, wild and empty, but alive. Mary's eyes searched the distance, amazed by its size, so different from anything she had known. The wind carried its smell, fresh, sharp, and endless, like a sea made of earth and sky. A bird sang suddenly nearby, its call sharp and cheerful, cutting across the cold air. Mary felt a small warmth inside, a spark that told her the moor was not so lonely. Martha spoke of her brothers, running freely across the land, full of noise and laughter. Mary imagined the picture, children running in the wind, and felt a strange longing in her chest. She had never played like that, never shouted across fields, never laughed so freely before. The thought stayed with her, as if the moor itself was calling, inviting her to join in. She turned back toward the house, her eyes lingering on the land, carrying its image inside. Back at the house, the halls were quiet, each step echoing softly along the stone floor. Mary looked at the tall windows, gray light spilling through them, touching the walls like water. She wondered again about the garden, locked and waiting, hidden behind its silent wall of ivy. Martha noticed her silence, but said nothing, only carrying on with her usual cheerful work. At the table, Mary sat still, spoon in her hand, eating slowly while her mind drifted away. Every taste reminded her of the morning air, cool and fresh, sharper than the food itself. Martha's voice filled the room again, telling of chores, of her mother, and the many children at home. Mary listened quietly, her heart moved by the thought, a house filled with so many voices. It was nothing like her own life, silent and lonely, a world where no one had truly cared. She looked down at her hands, small and pale, and thought how strange it was to feel empty. The sound of the wind outside rose again, rattling faintly against the window glass. Mary turned her head toward it, imagining the garden wall, vines shaking softly in the breeze. Her chest stirred with longing, a quiet hope pressing her, though she could not name it yet. Martha called her back gently, placing another dish nearby, smiling with her usual warmth. Mary forced a small nod, though her thoughts remained far, carried away by the hidden garden. After the meal, she walked alone, her steps light but steady down the long corridor once more. The house seemed endless around her, filled with doors she had not opened and halls she had not seen. She touched the handle of one door, cool beneath her fingers, but she let it go and walked on. Her eyes traced the shadows along the wall, shapes shifting quietly with the light. She paused in the silence, feeling the stillness again, as though the house itself was watching her. Mary kept walking down the hall, each step quiet and careful, her ears open to every sound. The long corridor seemed endless, lined with doors she had never opened, each one holding mystery. Her hand brushed against the wall, feeling the cold stone surface steady beneath her fingers. She paused to listen again, wondering if she had heard something, but only silence remained. A curtain swayed near the window, moved gently by the wind, letting in a pale gray light. Mary looked outside once more, the moor stretching far and wide, quiet beneath the heavy sky. Her heart longed for answers, not of people or books, but of hidden doors and secret places. She turned toward another passage, her steps light but curious, exploring corners she had not seen. The house seemed to breathe slowly, its silence alive, as if it watched her with steady eyes. She felt small within its walls, yet not afraid, only eager to learn what it held inside. Her hand touched another knob, cool against her skin, but again she let it go. She wondered how many secrets slept here, waiting quietly behind wood and stone. The thought stirred her spirit, not with fear, but with quiet excitement she had never known. Her footsteps slowed as she reached a corner where the light faded and the air grew still. She stood there in silence, her breath the only sound, steady and calm in the emptiness. The ivy walls returned to her mind, thick and green, hiding something she was sure was alive. Her lips formed no words, yet her heart whispered questions, pressing softly inside her chest. The corridor waited around her, silent and patient, holding its secrets without end. Mary drew a deep breath, the air cool and steady, filling her with quiet determination. She turned back toward her room, footsteps gentle, carrying the garden's mystery within her heart. Mary paused at the stair's edge, listening to the faint hum of the wind circling the old house. The sound rose and fell like a lullaby, steady and calm, wrapping the manor in quiet music. She touched the wall gently, its stones cool beneath her hand, as if the house itself breathed softly. The corridor stretched on before her, shadows blending with the pale glow of the lamps. Her steps grew slower, lighter, as though she were walking inside a dream made of silence. The air carried a trace of earth, damp and green, reminding her again of the hidden garden. She closed her eyes for a moment, imagining doors opening one by one into secret paths. A picture flashed in her mind, hedges tall as walls, and a gate covered with climbing roses. Her heart stirred, not with fear but with hope, like a seed waiting quietly for spring rain. She leaned against the railing, steadying her breath, her mind drifting between waking and dream. The manor's silence seemed to guide her, holding her gently, as if leading her toward discovery. Mary felt herself growing calmer, her worries fading, replaced by a soft curiosity. The night deepened outside, stars hidden by drifting clouds, while the wind whispered unseen stories. She wondered if the house itself was alive, keeping secrets in every locked door and corner. Her footsteps echoed faintly, a rhythm slow and even, matching the beat of her steady heart.